Hotel and casino employees of Reddit, what is the craziest thing you've seen a guest do? My girlfriend works as front desk manager at a pretty large hotel. She said one night guests were complaining of a smoke smell. The fire department was called. In a room they found that some guests were using the toilets to cook food. The seat had been removed since it's plastic. There was charcoal inside with a metal grill on top of that. They were cooking chicken on a toilet. I'm going to file that under handy post-apocalypse cooking tips. What to call it? Chicken a la commode? Porcelain pork? I work at a hotel front desk. And about 10 minutes ago, a guest told me he would pay to watch me strip on our front counter. I really need a different job. Sorry about that, I was a little high on NyQuil. The cocktail waitresses were always telling horror stories about people shitting and pissing themselves because they were on a hot machine. Another thing they'd do is PSS in the change cups so they didn't have to get up. I saw a guy drop his pants and start humping a slot machine. When security removed him, he said he wanted to screw the machine like it screwed him. That is disgusting and hilarious at the same time. There was a jazz festival in the town and lots of performers stayed in the hotel. Then once, a few jazz musicians met in the corridor and started to improvise. It wouldn't have been so crazy if they hadn't met at 2 AM. I worked cleaning and reception in a small hotel. A big trucker came into the office warning me he had sweat a lot and could we please change all the sheets. We usually do. So that was no problem. I go in and check when he left and his bed was indeed damp. It was saturated. And it smelt awful. Why he thought I could be fooled into thinking this was sweat is beyond me. He'd pissed at the bed so thoroughly that it had leaked through a mattress protector and ruined the mattress. Carpet in the wall close by. Former cast member for the Disneyland Hotel. I didn't meet the guest personally but got the joy of seeing them plummet to their demise after jumping from one of the top floors. Edit. No, this was not an enjoyable thing to be seen. Sorry if it came off that way. Dude jumped from the 8th story inside the lobby. Big mess. Why is everybody shitting in casinos? A guy walks in after dousing himself in gasoline and carrying 2 pipe bombs. He walks in the entrance, flicking his lighter, then walks onto the floor to the player's membership counter. Thinking it was the cashier, he puts the pipe bombs on the counter. Then the fight is on. Security tackles him and it takes 4 of them to subdue him. He's dragged to the holding cell, soaked in gasoline while patrons run for their lives. Eventually, the casino is shut down and evacuated. The bomb squad shows up and the casino becomes the Hurt Locker. They take the bombs outside and detonate them. I don't work a hotel. But when I was staying in a hotel in Edmonton, there was this 60-ish-year-old man sitting butt naked by the hot tub in the pool room eating spaghetti and meatballs with his hands. And dropping various sized batteries into the hot tub from one of those reusable grocery store bags filled with them. I promptly noped out of there and informed the front desk clerk. I work at a hotel in Las Vegas for the next 4 days. At least. Crazy becomes mundane after a while. One that comes to mind right now is when a guy walked up to my desk and asks for a manager. I usually like to, or rather, the managers like me to, get a feel for what the situation is before they come out to talk so that they can be prepared. The guy told me that it was too personal, so I go to get my manager. I'm eavesdropping. And turns out, this guy needs to talk to Will Smith. And for some reason thought that my manager could facilitate this. Will Smith was not staying with us. We are not affiliated with him. It was confusing. Former slot floor manager. People reaching over the EMTs and a guest on the ground. Who's having a stroke? To drop coin into a slot machine. Seriously. Ducking blazing sevens can wait. Friend of mine here in street. Louis told me Chuck Berry left $20,000 in chips on the table at the casino he was working at the time. The casino kept track. Obviously he's a VIP. Held them. and he came back a few days later to claim them. Seems crazy to me, but from stories I've heard, pretty par for the course for old Chuck. When I worked at a resort, a drunk guest grabbed a trolley from our lobby, snuck it outside, and attempted to ride it down a 40-foot long stretch of stairs. Of course he hit his head on the way down and had to be driven to the hospital by one of our shuttle drivers. Another story I was told about was this elder gentleman came in there, had to be in his 60s, and brought all his life savings. He played all night and lost everything. This poor, beaten man then goes out to the parking lot and puts a bullet through his skull. I'm sure security and the local police had fun with that one. A drunk guy came out of his room and got in the elevator. The door closed, and then it opened. He was standing there on the phone with his DCK in his hand taking a PSS. I told him I was kicking him out of the hotel. He came to the desk to apologize, and on the way over he spit more than once on the lobby floor. He then wiped his mouth and tried to shake my hand and tell me someone took a PSS in the elevator. I had to call the cops to come get him and take him out of the hotel. He didn't get a refund. I've also delivered room service to naked people. That sucks. Worked in the kitchen for a hotel golf resort. We had a group of defense contractor workers in-house. They were VIP as far as the hotel was concerned. A bartender offered a special drink for their group. Pitchers of kamikazes for $77 each. They ended up ordering over 20 of them. And there were only 25 people. The next day I saw them all leaving in their fancy cars. Apparently they got so drunk that some of them shit in the pool and on their hands so they could smear it on the bathroom walls. And one of them shit directly in the center of the floor of the exercise room. They destroyed their rooms, broke windows, and generally abused and annoyed the staff. They were asked to leave at 6:30 am the next day. Can I comment if I work in a theme park? Because one time a guest took her shoes off and walked through puke that we were dissolving with sawdust back to her seat. When we told her to watch her step, she said, "I've walked through worse." I recently had a guest expose himself to a 14-year-old girl. The hotel is shaped like a C. He was on one side, she on the other. Gross Ducker stood in front of his window touching himself. The best part is he tried to say he was in a towel, but all the towels were dry and hanging up in the bathroom. Crazy Ivan the Russian, not his name of course. He came in, threw down $5,000 in bundled bills. It took me like 15 minutes to count all of it. I was so nervous at the time and new to dealing baccarat. 2 hands later it was gone. I never felt so sick to my stomach. Duck dealing bonus rage. I can't. Duck eyeing. Stand. People saying winner. Winner. Chicken. Dinner. I duck eyeing heard that T35890732498734983 times a duck eyeing night. My old job as a recreation attendant, which is really a fancy title of pool boy. I was closing up, locking the gates for the pools and picking up towels. Our hotel has a pretty sweet water slide, so I have to lock that up. 2. Caught a couple just going at it inside the slide. I couldn't yell and had to maintain my professionalism to not get fired, so I said that it's a family hotel and pool. Guy had the audacity to ask if he could finish and I just told them to leave. Girl was very hot though, so that's a plus. Not an employee, but saw someone bet on every single spot on the roulette table except for one number. That number landed. No one said a damn word and let the guy walk away in peace. Edit. He didn't bet on the same amount on every spot. Some were single chips, some were little stacks. So in some cases he would win big, while in other the damage wouldn't be so bad. The crazy part was seeing the one number he didn't put anything on land. A long time ago a gypsy put a curse on his family, giving them 10 generations of bad luck. He was number 11. This was his test to see if the curse had been lifted. Years ago, when I was a housekeeper, the hotel had mini fridges in the rooms. So one day I go in to clean, and open the fridge. It's been completely emptied except for a load of cum that was neatly surrounded in a perfect little circle of shaved pubic hair. 4 rough overviews. Same hotel. Had folks cooking meth. And another night counterfeiters. Almost could have been shot. Man cut off his own penis. This one actually made the paper in a less blunt form. It was around 1999 to 2000. I'm looking for the article and will post it if I can find it. Have fun googling man cuts off his own penis. While I might be late to this party, here goes. Guest has made a booking well in advance of check-in day. Nothing unusual there. Upon the day of this guest's check-in, he shows up at 4 AM with one of those big round containers of ice cream. Odd, but you don't really question these things. 6 AM comes around and this same guest is checking out. We were all so confused. Of course we had to go up and see the room to figure out what on earth was going on. We get up there to discover. Full stop. Full stop. Absolutely nothing but an empty ice cream bucket. TL. DR. Guest planned well in advance to book a hotel room for 2 hours to eat a bucket of ice cream. I'm too late and this'll get buried. But I have a kind of unique one. I was working as a dealer in a casino in the 90s. But the story is about the slots. Our machines actually paid out in tokens. Not on a credit card. And people would carry around their winnings in a small paper tub like you get popcorn in at the movies. Anyway. People would walk by someone's tub. And quickly grab a handful of tokens. They pissed the wrong guy off. Though. And it was our problem for a long time. Somehow someone or a group of people started filling the tubs halfway with liquid tea. I don't know how someone could produce this tea in this consistency in this quantity. But anyway they'd basically find places to put these. And cover the tea with a layer of tokens so if you glanced it'd look like someone had $50 worth that you could steal. So people would constantly be freaking out because they grab a handful of liquid tea with like $2 worth of tokens in it. I didn't actually see this one but word got around at the casino I was working at. Rich Chinese would often stay free at a high rollers villa on the resort, bring an entourage of 10 or more sometimes and just blackjack away millions of dollars for a week and fly back home. Recently, a dealer took fresh packs of cards out ready to be shuffled. Got distracted. And then put the cards straight into a dealing shoe. The player noticed cards coming out in sequence but the dealer didn't and neither did the pit boss. Not for another 2 or 3 hands. The player took full advantage and the rumor goes he walked away with close to $2 million. We had 4 less staff the next day. Take a tea on the craps table. Well you guys shouldn't be false advertising then. Take a tea in the middle of the hallway. Then proceed to the pool to rinse off. I work as a janitor at a casino and I was told this from one of my co-workers. There was a guy playing a machine all night. Putting just about everything he had into it. And lost. Obviously. So what does he do? Stands up. Starts swearing at the machine. And punches the screen so hard. He shattered it. He then continued to punch and kick at it until security dragged him out of there. And yes. He was banned from coming back. Edit. Spelling's hard. Reposting from our Tales from Retail. Not me. But a friend. He worked maintenance and got a call to fix a broken door latch. As he approached the room, a teenage-year-old girl comes storming out. Yelling at her parents that she wasn't watching this again. Girl lets my friend in the room. Then shit gets real. The girl's mom and dad are 250 and 300 pounds. Respectively. Friend says he's there to work on the door. Both parents are laying underneath the covers in bed. Which is nothing that odd. They tell my friend to get to work. And as he starts pulling out his tools, both parents get out of bed. They're completely naked. And proceed to start ducking doggy style on the end of the bed. My friend says he'll just come back. The dad screams for him to keep working as he loudly plows his wife. Friend can hardly work because he's so shaken up. He never looks back. Except for one time on his way out the door. When he sees that the dad was so fat. He laid his belly up on top of his wife's back. And had a chocolate milk in his hand. I knew a girl who worked for a casino in Vegas. Can't remember which one. And she would hand out flyers to people walking into a cosmetic store. Anyways, guys would think she's a prostitute and would ask her how much she charges and what she would be willing to do. Some guys would even give her their card keys to their room. They'd tell her to meet them there when her shift ends. She said it made her feel dirty and gross, so she quit after a month. Some guys are such scumbags. TLDR. Guys think every girl in Vegas is a WH-re. I work as a pool attendant at a resort and recently was asked by some women to be their cabana boy. My husband and I work at a nightclub in a hotel in downtown. Funny thing is, our nightclub is on some top nightclub in the US list. Anyway. People are always having sex on the dance floor. Like just hiking up their skirts. Pulling down their pants. And going to town. Lots of drugs everywhere. I saw the guy get out a little vial of coke and just take out his keys for a bump right by the entrance. My favorite so far has been the lady who had some sort of stomach surgery a few days before. Goes to the club with her family. Downs a bunch of pills. Gets smashed. Has a bad interaction. And her heart stops. The paramedics show up and take her out. Our manager said she was fine. But my husband said she wasn't breathing for 45 minutes. Our owner is a cokehead and bangs hookers all the time. Everyone knows. We just avoid him at all costs.